Hey music lovers, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio with August's edition of Record Reflection. I'm going to read you a little information about our feature. Songwriter Josh Weinstein released an album every 3 years throughout the 2000s. The first, Petty Alchemy, received local airplay in New York City. The second, Brooklyn is Sinking, made it onto WFUV's Best Of list for 2006. That list was then picked up by NPR.org for their year-end Best Of feature. The third, Love and Alcohol, was licensed by MTV, enjoyed copious left end of the dial airplay, and resulted in multiple festival appearances. And then, nothing. Until now. Mind the Gap is the first album of new material from who blogcritics.org call the Bard in Blue in 14 years. With a runtime of 84 minutes, the record is meant to function as much like a movie as an album. With material spanning the entirety of the Gap years, Mind the Gap ranges from the tender to the tough, from the aftermath of a failed marriage to the loss of a father, from the depths of despair to the navigation of a new and unfamiliar after. Some of the songs are sexually explicit, some are emotionally vulnerable. Throughout, a spirit of dark humor and perseverance prevails. All right, pals, follow me to Josh Weinstein's studio in Claremont, California, where we will find out all there is to know about this new collection of songs. You ready? All right, that was a little bit of Pretty for a Living from Josh Weinstein's latest release called Mind the Gap. I'm Catherine Beeks, this is Josh Weinstein, and this is Record Reflection. So, before we jump into everything, tell me about Pretty for a Living. Give me the background of that song.
I don't do a lot of the background of the song stuff, but I will say that, is it okay to look at you over here?
Absolutely.
Okay. Sorry, I'm keeping you guys in mind when I'm talking. Pretty for a Living is about as close. I always say songs are not documentary footage.
Yeah.
Pretty for a Living is pretty close to documentary footage.
Okay.
Everything in that song is from things that actually happened.
Okay.
It's the first time I wrote a song like that where I was like, fuck it, this is going in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, out of all of your 24 songs, I always try to figure out, who's he writing about? Who's that one about? I'm always curious.
They're all about a woman named Candy.
Yeah.
Candy is the stand-in for me of any woman I'm
all the
writing
women
about.
combined.
Yeah. Yep. That way I can just say what I want, and it's not about any one
I
person.
bet she has cool hair.
Candy?
Yeah. All the different colors, blonde, red, brunette, etc.
Yeah.
Some of the questions that I have, first of all, when was this collection released?
December of 2023.
Okay.
Last day of the year in 2023.
Okay.
Yep.
And you had been working on it for many years?
Yeah. My last album was 2009.
Yeah.
I had one in 2003, 2006, and 2009. And each one did a little better than the last.
Yeah.
And I licensed the last one and was definitely ready for another one in 2012. I did all the recording for it. Never finished it. Dove into some, marital strife and other stuff.
Sure.
And I was doing a PhD program at the time, and we had financial pressure and personal pressure.
Right.
So I didn't do it then. Then I recorded Basics again a couple years later, maybe 2014 or something.
Okay.
And didn't do anything with those. And then finally figured it was time to get the damn thing out.
Nice.
So, yeah.
I was surprised to learn about all the accolades that you had gotten, just because I didn't know about it. But yeah, all of the in film and as we heard in the press release that you did quite well with those.
I did. I mean, as an independent singer-songwriter, I did some of the stuff you'd want to do for sure. There's plenty of stuff I'd still like to do, but for somebody mailing my own packages out and buying my own postage, I did pretty fine. Yeah.
And how did you do all that? Did you have someone?
No, I had an Excel spreadsheet, and I had a routine. Mondays were for this, Tuesdays were for that, and I had a list of hundreds of. It depended if it was radio stations or placement or music supervisors. If it was radio stations to get in-person, appearances for performances, I had a whole bunch of different spreadsheets.
Okay.
And I had follow-up schedules that I would mark off literally with a.
Wow.
In the days when we were kind of happy to own a printer before it pissed us off that we had to own a printer. I would print it off and with a pencil would check mark that I'd called that day, and I'd write, talk to Mark. He said call back tomorrow.
Incredible.
And so I would call back tomorrow, and it does take a lot of dedication to do that if you do it yourself.
And you have to be that kind of person that has that right brain and left brain working simultaneously.
You do, and it's not always a perfect fit, and you're not working on your art when you're doing that.
Right.
That's only commerce. That's you being a phone monkey, basically.
Okay, so as I said, there are 24 songs on this collection.
Yeah.
And it comes with a poetry book, a book of lyrics.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. And the artwork inside?
Yeah.
AI?
AI, yeah.
Interesting.
I'm a huge fan. I mean,
Okay.
I've got no fear of AI.
No shame.
No shame, no fear.
Right.
No shame. I'm proud.
Right.
I'm proud. I mean, as an independent artist, people are like, well, what about hiring somebody? That would have paid for an independent artist. But no, it would not have.
Right.
Because I wasn't going to pay anybody.
Right.
So what it did is it let me, as an independent artist, have access to stuff that looks like an artist drew it.
Right.
And I get to, to have this book that I provide. I designed this book and, printed it, online.
Yeah.
And it took longer for me to describe for AI what each of the, it took weeks for each of these.
Absolutely.
I would go back and back and back.
No, it's all out of your brain and your heart.
Exactly. But what I couldn't do is make it come out of my, my fingers.
Right.
So, huge fan.
Yeah.
Even the cover, which I love this cover.
I love it too. That's why I was like, who drew that? And I was very surprised to see that it was a robot.
It's all different AIs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I probably used 3 or 4 different ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
The book itself, what prompted you to have that?
A couple things. One is I'm really, as you referred to it as a movie, and you said in our email, you said who puts 24 songs on a record or whatever. It's not a record to me. It's a collection that adds up to one thing, and I can't tell you if it's an album or a set of poems or a movie. I think or a novel even. I think of it in all of those terms.
Right.
And so this was just a chance to try to get a second modality or a third modality.
Love it.
Because it's not just a bunch of babble over over sounds.
Right.
I meant it to add up to something.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's self-contained or not, who can say?
Yeah.
But so this was just another way, another component of it. And originally I thought I would do an 84-minute lyric video.
Okay.
And that you would just sit for 84 minutes and and engage in the numbing agent of your current choice, even if it's kombucha, and and just kind of take the story beginning to end.
Yeah.
I still play with that idea.
Yeah.
And so this was just one more component.
Love it.
Yeah. And so if you buy this book, you get a free download of the album.
Okay.
Yeah.
And vice versa, if you buy the album, you get the...
No, the album you can download from my site. There's no physical... This is the album.
Gotcha.
So there's no physical version of the album. The book is the album.
There's no CD or...
There's no CD,
okay.
There's no... Yeah. So you can let it live in the cloud.
Right.
Or you can buy the book and then get a free download, code for the...
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, well, we are going to feature 6 songs of the 24.
Okay.
And we started off, as we said, with Pretty for a Living.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on to Jesus of Neverland. Love that song.
You are going to do the music video for that song.
I am? Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so fun to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, that. Now I'm going to just be thinking about that.
Yeah.
I made some notes. It's got that kind of Broadway feel a little bit to me, which I love, which I'm excited about even more now. And it's a little retro also. It takes me back to I don't know. I never like to compare or even contrast, but it takes me back. Maybe late 70s-ish kind of feel. and the dynamics are amazing, and just the part where it's it's just you speaking for a little bit, and then it's just really well crafted.
Thank you.
Are those snaps?
Yeah.
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 I love a song with snaps.
Yeah, it's got snaps. I can't remember if the snaps were recorded for that song or for a different one, and I picked them up and I dropped them in that song too.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say about it before we play a little clip of it?
No, I was actually more in like French, like song crooner land.
Yeah.
For
That's what it. Yeah.
for my reference.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And if you listen, you can hear an accordion in the second verse.
I might have missed that.
Yeah.
I will listen for it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear that now.
There's a roof above my ceiling, street outside my door, earth beneath my floor. I am not special, yet I can't escape the feeling we was bound for something more. That was long before all this. Check 1, 2 on a microphone, 12 bar tools and a ghost at home, like Jesus of Neverland. 2 cents more and the day is done. Save some fire for the next one, like Jesus of Neverland. Well, the heart only knows beating, and the head only turns so far.
So, do you do most of the production here in your studio?
I do. I sit
Okay.
here and obsess for days and days and days
Yeah.
and weeks and weeks and weeks.
It's a really
about
cool place to do it.
every millisecond of it. Yeah.
What do you call this place?
Home.
All right, and then you recorded some at Jeff's studio
I did.
as well.
So we did the basics a couple days, 2022.
Okay.
We did a couple days of basics, probably got 20 something done, and then I went back in and did a couple more days of basics. I pulled those here, did my obsessing thing for a while. We did a couple more days there too. We did, we were the first client in Satellite Studio.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
that was about that time,
Yeah,
right?
it was the
Wow.
first like full. There was somebody who did a solo thing, but we were the first
Yeah.
full recording there.
Nice.
And they probably thought the record was going to come out a month later, and it would be like Satellite Studio, which is what I thought too. And then it turned out it's never what you think. So then we did a couple. I did some overs there. I did some backup vocals there and some percussion and guitar for another day, maybe another day or two. And then I did a whole bunch of recording here, more vocals, everything else, here. And then Jeff did a beautiful job, mixing
Really did.
and co-producing.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
You are a father,
Yeah.
and
Wait, this is how I find out?
you're.
Wait, from that time?
Oh my God.
Wow, how old? How old is he or she?
You and those dad jokes. I just love them.
That's a literal dad joke.
That is a literal dad joke.
Yeah.
Slow down. That song just gripped me, and I don't have kids. And the the voices of your kids from when they were little, just taken off of film that you had
I
taken.
know I used to
of them.
record. I used to literally
You
pull my
did.
phone out and record them because I knew I'd want to remember their voices. So
amazing.
sometimes it would just sit there and I would just, so.
Good. You tell him, Maverick. All right, let's hear that song right now.
I would be freaked out because the seasons of the line can go back up. I love what I'm doing right now.
Slow down. Slow this boat down. Slow. Time drains like water lately, like water lately.
Done.
Is that a marble?
Yeah, it's a marble run.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
Uh,
What's the significance of the marble?
It's a kid's toy and winding down, that it winds down to the end, and you know it bounces off all these side trips, and then you know that feeling of draining or winding down, childhood winding down.
Beautiful, beautiful, bittersweet song. Love
Yeah, and
it.
they sang backup on it too.
They did, yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that in the credits.
Yeah.
Who are all of the players that played on this record?
Okay, so in the basics, Ken and Kevin Dow. Ken Dow on bass,
Yeah.
Kevin Dow on drums.
Brothers
Sam,
Dow.
What's that?
The
The
Brothers
Brothers
Dow.
Dow, Sam Hunt on guitar. And then me, that was basic section. Joe Amato played some overs on guitar, plays that great solo on either Pretty for a Living. Does that one have a guitar solo? Or is it? No, it's...
SD in the Rain.
Oh, San Diego in the Rain, that's Sam. Yeah.
Amazing solo.
Thank you.
I wondered who that was.
Yeah. So some of the raunchier overdubbed guitar solos are Joe Amato. Josh Taylor plays guitar. He plays acoustic on Queen of Coney Island, and he plays that great solo on Shimmer.
Yeah.
Let's see, who am I forgetting? Tony Econom plays percussion. What other instruments are on there? Oh yeah, there's some horn players. Oh, Ted Belladin did a beautiful horn arrangement for I Am a Better Ship Than an Anchor, and he and April West came and recorded that arrangement. He did a couple takes on sax, and she did trombone.
And the amazing background vocalists.
Yeah, let me see. I think I got everybody. Oh, a guy I did my PhD program with, Drew Allen, played tuba on that last song, what I call The Last Orgy in Hell, Right Out the Fire. Yeah, I got everybody. So, and then all the backup vocals, Sandy, Josh, my kids, and everybody at a one of the songwriter gatherings. I had everybody sing backup vocals for that last song.
Nice.
I just set the phone up and we just sang it a bunch of times.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's got that party feel.
Let's listen to your title track, Mind the Gap.
Yeah,
Let's listen to it first, then we'll talk about it.
sure.
Miss my room, the dirty magazines and cartoons. Miss having something just for me. Miss the peace of my deceits. Oh, time is time and that's okay. Stays a while and drifts away. No one wants to live forever anyway. Life is lived in conversations, inside jokes and subway stations. Mind the gap and find a way.
So the first line, just miss my dad.
Yeah, that song came from that sentence, obviously.
Yeah.
And I was just walking in the house and missed my dad and just wondered what would happen if I sat at the piano and said that sentence, because that's really, that's as short a line as you can get between the emotion and the expression of it.
Right.
That was just everything I was feeling. Miss my dad.
So difficult to write about someone
Yeah.
you've lost.
Yeah.
And that was just beautiful.
Thank you.
And then, about everything in life that we've lost, and just
That song. That song was not at the basics. The recording was all done for the album. I'd already started working on the songs when that happened. And
wow.
I'd written a couple other songs in the meantime that I had a sense weren't of this story, and then that one felt like it was, and I played with the idea in my head of, can I really be adding a song to a 22 or 23 song album at that point?
Yeah.
And then it all fell into place. That's really the one that, Mind the Gap. It had been 14 years since I put a record out, and it's about all that removing it's a divorce and all the gaps between us, and it felt too much of a piece with this. I was going to be sad if I had to put it on our next album,
Right.
so I recorded it all here. It's all electronic
That's
instruments,
beautiful.
and and me, and
Yeah, missing what was and what might have been. It's
Yeah.
just, it really, it speaks to everybody. Thank you for that song.
oh, thank you. Yeah.
So where can we go to listen and look at the book and purchase the book? And do you have a website?
Yeah, joshweinstein.com.
Okay.
Yeah, I bought it back when you could buy your own name.com.
Yeah.
And had some other guy try to offer me money for it.
Oh, wow.
And he wasn't famous or rich, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna keep it. So yeah, joshweinstein.com. You can buy the book only through there. The album you can stream all the places you stream
Right.
songs.
Cool.
And you can also stream it on my website, and you can buy it directly from me on my website, and I get all
Of course.
I get all of it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so definitely do that.
yeah.
Yeah, these clips of these songs are not going to be enough, so people are going to want to hear the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I definitely suggest listening to it all 24 in a drive you're going to take.
That's
or-
what I say. Just stick it on in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or take a bath and, you
Yeah.
know,
84-minute bath.
take an 84-minute.
Get a little wrinkly,
what do
but
I know?
It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
That's my picture. Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Let's hear Wasted Anyway.
Mm.
And yeah, as a newly sober person, this one really spoke to me as
Yeah.
well. Like it. Sultry little number.
Yeah.
What was the impetus of this song?
They all just come from a germ of a thought, but I can tell you the turning point in this song. There's always a line or something in a song or a moment where you're like, I don't think I can say that. And then that's the thing you have to say.
Yeah.
If it scares you to say it.
Because you're afraid of how someone will react, or that it's too vulnerable.
Probably all of that is in the mix, or if I was married when I wrote this, and I've got the line that turned this song around for me was, "She's got her anger, I've got my wine."
I know. I wrote that down. because
Yeah,
it's
so-
just like, ugh.
And I don't think of songs as true. I think of them as truthy.
Yeah.
They've got to be. You've got to be able to feel it.
Yeah.
It's got emotional truth in it. It's not literal. That one was pretty literal, that line, and we still looked like a happy shiny people couple at that point, and so I didn't know if I was going to be able to say those words. But it's the thing that busted the song open for me. Then I understood the I character, and I understood the song once I said that line, and that's the first time I'd had a line in a song like that where it was a scary fucking factual thing to say.
Yeah.
I don't think songs need to be true. They need to be emotionally true. That one terrified me to say, and I was like, well, I got to say it then.
Yeah.
If it's going to scare me. And writing that line in that song changed how I wrote songs, because you don't know if other parts of it are true.
Right.
It's like that little bit of chaos theory, that little bit of uncertainty about whether it's about Josh Weinstein, the dude, or this character in a song.
Yeah.
That's very liberating and powerful. And writing that line in that song changed how I wrote songs, and I think that's probably why I put it on this list of 6.
The keyboard solo is inspired.
Oh, the organ thing. Yeah.
Is it organ?
Yeah.
I mean, just amazing.
That was just me talking to the flow. At that point, it was right here, and it was set up a little differently, but I just talked to the song, and I talked to the flow, and I know everybody. It was my only solo. I did a piano solo that I hated. I did a second piano solo I hated, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm playing organ."
Yeah.
And that "fuck it, I'm playing organ" is what you hear in the solo.
Exactly, yeah.
You can hear "fuck it, I'm playing organ."
You can.
And there's like a single note somewhere that I was like on an overdub. I went dink because I wanted to hear a phrase finish, and everything else was that first take. So
Fantastic.
yeah.
All right, let's hear it.
Wasted anyway. Pellets of poison of time. She has her anger, and I have got my wine.
Let's move away from the collection just for a moment and
Sure.
talk just really quick about your Secret San Diego open mic and what an amazing thing that was that you created.
Thank you. Yeah,
And I hope it's
I'm
just
hoping
on hiatus.
It's hiatus.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm hoping it's
wonderful.
not past tense.
Good.
I mean, I'm happy to talk about the reason for the hiatus and everything as well, because it's
welcome to.
Music Box has been great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had this. I kept running into great players and great artists, and it would be one gig, and I'd be like, "How come I haven't heard of this guy?" And they'd be like, "Oh, he only plays at the Neo Soul thing or
Right.
whatever."
Yeah.
You know. And there's this gripe against San Diego that we're a whole bunch of,
Circles.
but no scene.
Right.
And it became clear to me that that's our scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why would you dismiss that? That's
Right.
phenomenal. That we have all these little patches of explosive talent that are given freedom to, to develop.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I have always been uncomfortable with like the gatekeeping component
Yeah.
of scenes in general, and have liked that there's been this ability to thrive outside the gate.
Yep.
And I just had this, this thought of it's about time for San Diego to have like a European style salon
Yeah.
where just all the artists in town come together and we see what happens from it. Something's got to happen. If you put all these creative people in one place, something great's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I pitched it to one venue. We did a test run there, and then about 3 days before we were supposed to do our official open, they didn't want us to do it there anymore. And I teach piano to one of the ownership partners at Music Box.
Okay.
He doesn't do any booking. He can't, when I perform there, it's not because of him. But he is an owner there, and so I was teaching piano that day, and I said, I'm going to throw something out, say yes or no, but I am in this crazy bind. I've been putting feelers out in every direction, so you're just one direction, don't feel obligated.
Right.
I had asked Jeff about Satellite, I asked Peter about Studio West,
Sure.
I asked Mark about rock and roll.
Yeah.
While I was teaching him piano, I said, we have this thing, there's been some promotion built into our opening day, we just lost our venue. Would you feel comfortable just unlocking the front door long enough for me to get 20 people inside? We'll go to the third floor, I'll bring sound, I'll bring everything, we will clean it up with mops when we're done. I just don't want to cancel this.
Right.
And he said, let me think about it. And he texted later that day and said, yeah, I can swing that for you. I'll do that, and I'll make sure there's a security person there. So I went ahead, I just changed the location to Music Box. By the time I showed up, they had hired staff, and there was a sound man and a security guard at the door, and they'd given us the main stage.
Amazing.
And I had somebody coming to do sound. He came anyway. It's Sean.
Yeah.
He sort of showed up with, because
Yeah.
we were going to be self-contained, just
Right.
turnkey upstairs. So that was just one night that I was going to do it at Music Box, and then it bought me some time to find another venue.
Yeah.
And the next morning, we did our thing on Monday nights. I teach them on Tuesday mornings. So
Yeah.
I was there. Said, thank you. It was so
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
I said, again, completely no obligation, but before I go scramble to find another location for next week, what are your thoughts on maybe just a short term, like could we do it once more or twice more?
Right.
And so we did. We went the next week, and there was a bartender that week. We went the next week, there was food. We went the next week, there was a second sound man, because it's a pain in the ass to do, as you
Sure.
know from Johnny,
course.
everybody's a little different.
Yeah.
And they called me in for a marketing meeting and said, we're a fan of what you have. We're glad to be associated with it. The general manager said, but I'm losing money every week.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't see a way that this will ever be a 200 person.
Right.
We did get up to 100 people.
Yeah.
We were reliably at 100.
Yeah.
But I said, I don't see a way we'll ever be 200 people.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, if you could meet me halfway, I'm willing to take a loss on you every week, which is pretty amazing.
So amazing.
So I did. I contacted a couple of sponsors, Studio West and Taylor Guitars.
Yeah.
Together, they sponsored every week. Studio West made it part of their program. They would send engineers
Yeah.
to do sound there.
Oh my God.
And
So
so
smart.
that, and then the audience started to grow.
Right.
And so there were a few profitable weeks in there. You know, there were a couple of weeks where the sponsors didn't get charged.
Right.
So, you know, and then we had a taco lady outside, and we were on the news, and it turned into what I wanted it to do. There was a lot of cross-pollination. There were, you know, hip-hoppers who would get up with beat makers, and lots of people in Music Box who never would have walked in that front door, which is the exact thing I wanted.
Yeah.
And they were down with it.
Who would have never been able to play on that stage.
Never.
Yeah.
And Music Box wouldn't have heard of them, and a couple of them have had opening slots there now, and it's all the stuff I wanted to happen.
Yeah.
So, and I got to meet all these great, and it's a very hip-hop friendly event and venue. I'm hip-hop friendly, so it is too, and that's primarily the gate that I didn't want kept.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
Because all this great talent in this town. Why are we going to tell you have to play light reggae to, you know?
Exactly.
Okay, so anyway, and then when it turned to the new fiscal year, two things happened. One of the two sponsors wasn't able to contribute financially,
Right.
and also that was the busiest season at Music Box, and our Monday would have been the only night they could have had off in like almost 3 months.
Right.
Like any night, not Monday, but the first and only night they could have off. And so they asked me to stay dark through the busy season and revisit probably now over the summer.
Yeah.
And they're open. I as soon as I can lock up, hi world, as soon as I can lock up a second sponsor, they'll open back up.
Oh man.
Yeah.
People should be clamoring to do that.
Yeah.
Because it really is a special event.
I'm really proud
There's
of
nothing
what,
like it.
No, I'm proud of what came out of it.
Yeah.
And people understood it, and you know.
And I think now when you come back,
Yeah.
it's going to have even more power behind it.
I hope so.
And people.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's folks. You know, I've definitely seen book now who are on radar.
Love it.
You know, who wouldn't have been and should be.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely. Kudos, Weinstein.
In fact, Ted, who did the horns on this, I found. I poached from my own event.
Nice.
Because he moved to town and played something,
right.
and I'm like, hey, you want to do, you know, so yeah.
Networking at its finest.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, back to your Mind the Gap collection. We have one more song that we're going to play a clip of. San Diego in the Rain.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just listening to this again last night during the storm.
That rain, the first day we did Basics at Satellite, was a rainy day in San Diego. So the very first thing they recorded there was at these two expensive mics. Jeff set them up outside the front door.
Wow.
And the rain you hear on that song is the rain that was.
Wow.
And we tracked that song. I said, well, let's just do that song first because it's raining.
Absolutely.
So we tracked that song to the rain in San Diego. Yeah.
It's such a great song.
Thank you.
The whole song captures just a cloudy sky, and it really does. Your voicing on this song too is especially lovely. Yeah. In fact, throughout the record, your different voicings. I really love that.
Singing voice? Or?
Yeah, just your your different attack on each song, and yeah.
Thank you.
They're not the same. You know,
Right.
you have a wide range in that, which is unusual and unique, and I love it.
Thank you.
And this one has amazing background vocals, and the band sounds incredible on this song.
Thank you.
Let's play it, and then we'll talk a little more about it.
Bears howling in the canyons, rumbling in the seas, murders in committees, gathering in the trees. Well, there's bricks in this here building, softer than your soul. Bodies in the basement, warmer than your foes. They circle round the drain, bow beneath the strain of San Diego in the rain.
this is one of my favorite bridges that I've written for a song.
Yeah.
Where I just decide we're going to leave the song for a little bit and do this thing.
Yeah.
And that's another one of those like scary decisions. I don't know if I can do that. Like I stuck my name in another song. If you can listen to it later, but it's the song called "Swallow Me Where I Stand." I refer to myself by my first and last name in that song. That's one of those things. Fuck it, we're just doing it. Let people, like let's muddy the waters, between reality and song.
Yeah.
So this bridge. That's scary, and this bridge was also scary for me to it's going to be a second song in the middle of this song.
Love it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then how she answers with her hand up like I asked her for her wallet was from my notes from way back. I don't know.
What a great line.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Love it. So you had a CD release party.
I did.
And
Yep.
what is are you touring in support of these songs, or how are you supporting this album? How are you promoting it?
I'm using it to do some select bookings as me.
Yeah.
I did do a mailing when I first put it out, hoping to get some airplay or some licensing. I didn't.
Okay. Yet.
That's right. But this album was more about clearing it out of the pipes. There was a lot baked into this record,
Yeah.
A divorce and, all of the implications for the kids and, all that self-worth stuff of like, cause it's not like it's a great investment, you know what I mean? To make a record. And so,
Right.
all of that, like who the fuck cares what I have to say stuff, over all those years, of getting that message anyway, maybe interpersonally, and there was a lot involved in getting this record out. So for me, it was the artistic pursuit of clearing it out of the pipes, knowing I could do it, getting it done, and kickstarting that thing that I never thought would need kickstarting again. So yeah, I'm ready for another one.
You should be very proud of this.
Thank you.
It's a legacy collection for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Are you starting on your next one already? How many songs so far?
I don't know, maybe 11.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be a regular length album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Normal.
Yeah, it'll be a normie.
You teach. Can people take lessons from you? And how do they
I teach private lessons
how do they do that?
at joshweinstein.com. There's a tab that says private lessons. Contact me there.
Okay.
I do them in here or I do them by Zoom.
Okay.
Most private lessons are in person here.
Yeah.
I do maybe 5 or 6 Zoom lessons as well.
Okay.
And I teach college as well, so that you just have to register for.
And what class is that?
Teach history of music, and I teach world music and American music.
Nice.
Yeah, history of American, all history classes.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, anything that we didn't discuss about the collection that you want to share? Or any final thoughts?
No, just get this and do the thing nobody does, which is sit down and listen, or else just pop the needle and find something you like. They all sound a little bit different, right? So
They do.
Yeah, so you'll hopefully find something you like.
It's an incredible journey
Thank you.
through the 24 songs, for sure.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, my brother from the band, I love you very much.
Love you right back.
Thank you for sharing all this information with us, and I urge everybody to just go listen to them, but then definitely purchase the book as well.
Thank you. Be grateful, or just send a message and say something, so that we don't put it out into the silence.
Right.
Even just got it, like it. Period.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's always great to hear that.
Yeah.
All right, Josh Weinstein, thank you.
Thank you, Catherine Beeks.
Record Reflection is a Listen Local production produced exclusively for the Scene SD and my Patreon members. Become a member today at patreon.com/listenlocalradio, and by subscribing you will help me continue to produce the monthly Listen Local Show podcast, which has been sharing the music your neighbors are making for over 20 years. Thank you for your support and encouragement, and until next month, I will see you at a show.